you walk into a supermarket and are able to buy South American bananas, Brazilian coffee, and a bottle of South African wine, you're experiencing the effects of international trade. International trade allows us to expand our markets for both goods and services that otherwise may not have been available before. It is the reason why you can pick between a Japanese, German, or American car. As a result of international trade, the market contains greater competition and therefore more competitive prices, which brings a cheaper product home to the consumer. What is international trade? International trade is the exchange of goods and services between countries. This type of trade gives rise to a world economy in which prices, or supply and demand, affect and are affected by global events. Political change in Asia, for example, could result in an increase in the cost of labor, thereby increasing the manufacturing cost for an American sneaker company based in Malaysia, which would then result in an increase in the price that you would have to pay the tennis shoe at your local mall. A decrease in the cost of labor, on the other hand, would result in you having to pay less for your new shoes. Trading globally gives consumers and countries the opportunities to be exposed to goods and services not available in their own countries. Almost every kind of product can be found on the international market. This includes food, clothes, spare parts, oil, jewelry, wine, stocks, currencies, and water. Services are also traded, such as tourism, banking, consulting, and transportation. A product that is sold to the global market is an export, and a product that is bought from the global market is an import. Imports and exports are accounted for in the country's current account in the balance of payments. In today's video, we will be covering international trade barriers.
Trade barriers. Trade barriers are restraints on the flow of international goods or services imposed by the government. One of the most common barriers and tariffs, which are taxes put on imported goods. What this does is raise the price of imported goods compared to domestic goods, so it will discourage sales of imported goods. For instance, let's say company XYZ produces cheese in Scotland and then exports cheese, which costs $100 per pound to the U.S. A 20% tariff would require company XYZ to pay the U.S. government $20 to export the cheese. A specific tax would involve charging $30 per pound of cheese, whether cheese for $1 or $200. Subsidy is a grant given to an industry by the governments to keep prices low. This gives domestic goods a comparative edge compared to foreign goods. Embargo is a blockade or political agreement that limits foreign countries' ability to export or import. Do you need an example? Well, let's say country A dislikes country B's human rights policies. In order to coerce country B to change its ways, country A forbids its companies from selling widgets to country B. Country B has a huge demand for widgets, and being cut off from the country A's widgets could encourage country B's citizens to demand the country B's government to change its ways. A quota is a limited quantity of a particular product that under official controls can be produced, exported, or imported. The government also has government product standards to control the products that go out in the market to keep the projected economy up and keep safety regulations ahead.
We have just covered the 5 most common trade barriers, but why use them? Barriers to trade are often called protection because their stated purpose is to shield or advance particular industries or segments of an economy. From an economic perspective, though, the cost to the economy almost always outweighs the benefits enjoyed by those who are protected. The levying of tariffs is often highly politicized. The possibility of increased competition from imported goods can threaten domestic industries. These domestic companies may fire workers or shift production abroad to cut costs, which means higher unemployment. A government may levy a tariff on products that it feels could endanger its population. For example, South Korea may place a tariff on imported beef from the United States if it thinks the goods could be tainted with disease. Countries may also set tariffs as a retaliation technique if they think that a trading partner has not played by the rules. For example, if France believes that the United States has allowed its wine producers to call its domestically produced sparkling wine champagne, which is a name specific to the Champagne region of France, for too long, it may levy a tariff on imported meat from the United States. If the U.S. agrees to crack down on the improper labeling, France is likely to stop its retaliation. Retaliation can also be employed if a trading partner goes against the government's foreign policy objectives. From today's video, I hope you are able to understand a little more about international trade and how it affects us here at home.